Welcome to Sussing Life with me, Hamish Somerville. Today's topic is Know Yourself as Immaterialism. Essentially, we're trying to follow the advice of the Delphi Oracle and Socrates to know yourself, or some people put it, know thyself, or in my case, know myself. And after 60 odd years of thinking about it, at the age of 80 plus, I've got it down to 3 ways to know myself: as immaterialism, as consciousness, and as non-duality. So let's get straight into the big questions. Who am I? What am I? What's life about? And let's start by looking at materialism. Materialism, in my view, is a fundamentally flawed way of looking at life, but it is the world culture. We may call ourselves Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, communists, humanists, but my experience and my observation is that the vast majority of us look at life from a fundamentally flawed materialist point of view. And materialism, as it's taught in schools and universities, it all started a few million years ago with a big bang. The Big Bang gave rise to matter, matter gave rise to life, life gave rise to brains, and brains, according to materialism, gave rise to consciousness. And that's where I see the big flaw. Some scientists, some great scientists, a few, have analysed matter and come to the conclusion that it's the other way around. Consciousness is the ground. Some great philosophers have done the same, have come to the conclusion that consciousness is the ground. But the fact remains, the majority of us look at life from a fundamentally materialist point of view. And materialism is taught worldwide in schools and universities. Material world and all experience in it arises in and from consciousness. That's the conclusion. In the material world, everything we'll see when we contemplate is impermanent, divisible, and interdependent. When we contemplate impermanence, it becomes clear that all objects in our material world, all our thoughts, our feelings, our sensations, our perceptions, our bodies, our activities, our personalities, everything, it's all constantly changing. It doesn't really exist out there in the way that we think it does. As the Greek philosopher Heraclitus put it, no man steps in the same river twice. It's not the same river, and it's not the same man. And on the point of divisibility, everything can be divided. At one time, everybody thought atoms were the smallest indivisible part of nature, but it's clear that everything can be divided and divided and divided ad infinitum. And everything is dependent on other objects. The only thing that isn't dependent, that doesn't change, is the I that I am. The I that's there when I waken, the I that's there when I go to sleep. And I guess you have the same I. And my observation is that that I hasn't changed since I was a child. If I really existed in the way that we tend to think we exist, there would be trillions of me out there, because I'm changing every nanosecond. Materialism, we think we are bodies, thoughts, feelings, personalities, but that's not what we are. That's what we do. It's how we manifest. We manifest as bodies, thoughts, etc. We are not objects, we are subjects, we are the experiencers. We are the consciousness that experiences. Subjects, we experience objects. Immaterialism is the answer. We are mind stuff. We are immaterial. We are consciousness. We are not bodies, thoughts, feelings and personalities. And with study and meditation and contemplation and looking at analogies, and particularly with working with a simple model of personality types, has helped me enormously to get to grips with materialism and to understand who and what I really am, to know myself. Materialism, the key for me, personality types. Personality types were introduced into modern medicine and psychiatry by Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, who introduced personality types based on 3 pairs of opposite characteristics. Jung, interestingly, said that for him, personality types were like a compass that helped him find his way with people. And there's nothing new about personality types. Hippocrates, 2,500 years ago, sometimes called the father of modern medicine, 4 types based on the influence of body fluids. And not long after Hippocrates, Empedocles introduced 4 types based on the classic elements: fire, air, earth, and water. Sussing life, simple compass that I've developed for myself. 4 stereotypes, exaggerated human types in the corners of my compass. No big words. Instead of north and south, feeling and thinking. Instead of west and east, listening and talking. And in the corners, these 4 exaggerated types that give me reference points for other human beings. Between feeling and talking, people who are outgoing, extroverted, people who are energetic and enthusiastic with lots of ideas. Get the colours bright red, because these are people who know what they want. My stereotypical enthusiast is great on ideas, great on vision, great at getting things started, great at getting people going, great at getting projects and things going. And my stereotypical boss in the corner between talking and thinking gets the colour black and white. This is somebody who sees things black and white. Somebody who is very much motivated by objectives, by result, by gain, by profit. Somebody who sees themselves as a typical boss, somebody who likes to be in charge and feels they ought to be in charge. A boss. And in the corner between thinking and listening with the colour conservative blue, somebody who is careful, pays great attention to detail, somebody who is a great listener, a great gatherer of information, somebody who works much more with logic than with feeling, somebody who gets the name checker, somebody who is reliable, accurate and precise and will do everything possible to avoid making mistakes, a checker. And in the final corner, between listening and feeling, the harmonizers, getting the colour environmental green, people who like to create a warm, friendly, open environment. My stereotypical harmonizer gets the colour environmental green, somebody who is a people person, somebody who likes to work with people, who likes to create this warm, friendly, open environment, somebody who is helpful, somebody who likes to be working in teams, a great team worker, a great people person. So there we have it, 4 stars. Help me to find my way among people in the same way that I think stars helped mariners in days of yore to find their way on the ocean. And what has helped me more than anything with people and with coaching and with trying to understand myself and improve my skills has been trying to see myself into these stereotypical positions and trying to see things from the point of view of different people, to see how different people look at life and to understand their point of view and to develop their skills and to develop my skills and to overcome my weaknesses. Materialism. Personality, according to materialism, arises from our brains. it's incredibly complex. You need to understand the brain, neurology. You need degrees in psychology, psychiatry, neurology, physiology, biochemistry, God knows what else, to really get to grips with it. But if you look at it from the simple point of view of consciousness, then character or personality has been explained by Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher, who's put it simply in 4 lines. Our thoughts become words, our words become actions, our actions become habits, our habits become our character. And if you think about it, that's what makes what we are. If you look at it from the point of view of children, if children are exposed to enthusiasm and it works, they're likely to become enthusiastic. If they're exposed to bossiness and bossiness works, gets results, they're likely to become bossy. Simple learning. Same with checking, same with harmonizing. It's essentially the same with all human characteristics. That's what makes our personality. Learned behaviours, habitual tendencies. Of course, it's not as completely simple. Sometimes people take surprising turns for surprising reasons. But essentially, I'm convinced that that's a very good explanation of how we get to be the way we are. I like the story, though, of the 2 sons of the drunken ne'er-do-well. 2 sons, one a drunk and one a huge success. And both of them are asked the same question. What made you the way you are? And both of them said, well, what do you expect if you have a father like mine? Life is more complex than we might like it to be. Personalities, learned habits. I am not my personality. As Shakespeare put it in As You Like It, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. And that brings us to the derivation of the word personality from the Latin persona, for the masks that Roman actors wore in the theatre to tell the public the role they were playing. Am I a good guy or am I a nasty guy? Simple as that. Personality, learned behaviours, roles that we learn to play our parts on the great stage of life, in the great game of life, in the great dream of life. And if you don't follow my reasoning, then please have a look at Rupert Spira on YouTube. I've really enjoyed and learnt from his videos where he talks about the actor John Smith, who gets involved in the part of King Lear to such an extent that he thinks he is King Lear. And that's basically what I believe we are doing in this material world. We are not bodies, thoughts and experiences. We are pure consciousness. And my aim with these 3 ways of looking at life, of knowing yourself, is to check my understanding, to invite you to get involved in a discussion, get in contact, so we can get to know ourselves better. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Don't forget the book, and hope to see you soon for the follow-up videos on consciousness and non-duality and selflessness.